After the overturning of Roe v. Wade, we thought, as conservatives, constitutionalists, that it was settled that under the 10th Amendment, abortion would be governed in the states. Well, Democrats don't like that idea, and they don't see it that way. So they're trying to use major pharmaceutical companies and pharmacy retailers to send abortion pills into the states, regardless of state law. Now, Mifepristone, you know, when you watch a pharmaceutical company, a commercial, they give them these complicated names, and then they tell you that's the name of the drug that has an even more complicated name. I don't know why they do this. So Mifepristone would just better be known as Baby Gone. My first guest is Eric Baptist, Senior Counsel at Alliance Defending Freedom. Okay, so welcome to the program. So you have the FDA saying this abortion by mail thing is going to be approved, and essentially what the federal government is looking for under Democrat rule, that is a workaround to states like Texas and North Dakota and others that are passing abortion restrictions. Now, the funny thing is, when they say, we're not trying to ban all guns, we just want reasonable restrictions, a lot of these states aren't outright banning abortion. They're just making reasonable restrictions. But either way, the federal government says we want to supersede state law with these pills.
You've actually nailed it right on, because the Biden administration is trying to subvert those states that are having reasonable protections for women and unborn life. And the promise of Dobbs was returning the power back to the people and to the states. And this is their end around to the Dobbs decision, is to subvert the will of the people and of those states that seek to have reasonable protections for women and girls who may consider having abortions or taking these dangerous drugs.
You know what I don't understand? And you're going to tell me about a Texas court case, and I want to hear all about it. With all of the drugs that are, prescription only, not over the counter, it seems like they want to send this drug through the mail. We're not trusted with a lot of drugs, right? We have to go get a doctor to give us a prescription. We go to the pharmacy fills the prescription. Now they're saying, oh, just order this abortion pill at home and get rid of your baby in the toilet or something. And I don't mean to be graphic or take it into the gutter, but that's what this pill does. And they're saying that we trust you with. So in Texas, there is a court case, correct, that would overturn the FDA approval. Is it just for Texas or all 50 states?
It's going to apply to 50 states. We asked the court to apply to all 50 states because we represent national medical associations, and they have doctors throughout the country who have had to treat women and girls who've been harmed by these drugs, especially by the way the Biden administration has pushed mail-order abortions to have done in people's homes, hotel rooms, dormitories, wherever they are pushing this, and it's inherently dangerous.
Yeah, I know some states have tried to make laws that say, well, you have to be you have to get a prescription for this, and you have to take it with a physician and be treated by a physician. It's not just abortion by mail, because lots of bad things can happen with this pill. And, I've even read that some women take it when they are past the use window. I'm probably not using the correct language, but they give birth to live babies when this happens because they go into labor with the first pill. And then what do you do? There's a whole laundry list of things that could go wrong here. And like I said, there are so many other drugs that perhaps could be over the counter, but we get the wagging finger, well, you're not smart enough to take this without a prescription, so go see a doctor. Yet with this, they want to just ship it to everyone across the country, no questions asked.
It's both reckless and unlawful. It's reckless because, as you note, sending these drugs by mail, and this is a two-drug regimen. The first drug kills the baby, and the second drug induces labor and delivery. And when they're inducing labor and delivery, that's just an inherently dangerous thing to do in the first place, and outside of the medical setting, without a doctor examine a woman before she takes these drugs to determine even if she's pregnant, confirm her gestational age, or even identify a life-threatening ectopic pregnancy, which these drugs will not help and treat, but can mask the symptoms and create a life-threatening complication situation for that, is just so dangerous to do. And then to induce labor and delivery by yourself without any medical supervision or any support whatsoever, this is what has led to our nation's emergency rooms being filled with women on a regular basis.
Well, hold on. They only worry about filling emergency rooms when there's unvaccinated people around. That's the only concern. Is it true, though? Is it true that if that first pill is taken late in gestation, it might not kill the baby. And then the second pill, you got a live birth.
That's exactly right. And that has happened. And women have, again, it's only approved up to 10 weeks. There are instances where a woman has had a baby over 30 weeks old and she had to deliver that baby. Unfortunately, it was dead, but it's traumatic to do that in your own home and then deliver a 30-week-old baby who's fully formed. And even at 10 weeks, women are surprised to see what comes out of them because they've been lied to, whether on the safety of this drug or what it's actually doing to their unborn baby.
But have babies been born alive after the first pill?
Yes, the first pill doesn't always work. And so
right, that's what I'm saying here. And then my question is, there's no such thing as an afterbirth abortion. And, we saw what happened with Kermit Gosnell. We know that there are so-called doctors that when that baby's born alive, if the mom didn't really want it, they take it out, which is murder.
That's exactly right. And it's even worse now with the Biden administration because they're actually trying to force emergency room doctors to complete that abortion. So if a woman comes to the hospital with a baby with a beating heart and there's no life-threatening complication, the Biden administration is trying to coerce those emergency room doctors to perform the abortions themselves, even if they have a conscious.
Wait. I mean, how do you perform an abortion on a live baby that's out? I mean, by everyone's legal definition, what do they do?
I'm sorry. When I was saying alive, she's coming in with a baby still inside of her. She's taking one of the drugs and she's experiencing complications, but not life-threatening. The baby still has a beating heart. The Biden administration is trying to force those doctors to complete that abortion with a baby born alive. I mean, frankly, that's just murder at that point, and no doctor or abortionist should be able to perform that.
We have gone over with, quite frankly, medically accurate, photographs on this program. What that means, that dilation and extraction, that means they are going to puncture that skull. They are going to use a catheter to suck that baby's brains out, and they're going to throw it away like trash. And I'm not using any extreme language. That is the process known as dilation and extraction.
That's exactly right. And there's doctors who do not want to do that. And that's why they don't want to be compelled to do that by the law, which it does not support. But that's what the Biden administration is trying to do through the power of the pen, not through normal actions or passed by Congress or anything else. So it's just wrong and it's evil.
How far along are you in this case?
We fully briefed it. We had a 4-hour hearing last week, and we're hoping any day, any week, the court will agree with us and strike down this dangerous drug regimen full stop.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen. There's going to be other court cases. I mean, this is probably going to land in the Supreme Court, where we'll be told the dogma is strong in Amy Coney Barrett.
Well, we don't think this case should go to the Supreme Court because it's so cut and clear that the FDA violated the laws that Congress entrusted with them when we gave them that power to be the nation's gatekeeper for drugs in this country. And they failed that responsibility to America's women and girls. And this does not need to go to the Supreme Court because it's so blatant how reckless the FDA is.
You and I might think that, but there's a whole army of people out there that we're up against. I got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.